for coming to today's workshop. I'd like to introduce our speaker, Alan Anderson. Alan is Director and Scientific Coordinator of Cosmetic Ingredient Review. Previous to that position, he was employed at the Food and Drug Administration for 22 years. And over the course of his career, he received a number of awards. The Public Health Service Superior Service Award, the FDA Award of Merit, Employees Equal Opportunity Award, and the Sigma Chi Award of Recognition. He has also served on a number of boards. He served as a radiation
administration. I became a supervisor. And for the last, 38 years, I've been in a position where I've had hiring authority and I've been the one doing the interviews and making the decisions. A lot of that history, now that we're in since 2009, is largely worthless because things have changed so much. So what I'm going to focus on today is recent experience and my best guidance that I can give about what you should be looking for in evaluating a job opportunity, and maybe the most important part, let's say you get a nibble and somebody actually wants to pay you to work. How do you know whether that's a good offer, and how do you make it an even better offer by negotiating? Now, I had this helpful hint because I couldn't figure out where else to put it. It doesn't really fit. It's pre-interview stuff, but I got to tell you, so many people show up at my place and late in the interview they ask, oh, will you pay for my trip to come here? That's way late to be asking that question. If you're going to have to travel to do an interview, the answer may be no, I'm not going to pay your travel to come to the interview. But at least you'll know what the answer is. Ask it up front. Don't wait until you're there and expect that it's a slam dunk and you're going to get it. It's fundamental. Evaluation precedes negotiation. So what we're going to do first is talk about evaluation. So what is it that you're going to evaluate? Well, the job itself. I mean, it is a thing. It's got a description. It has pluses. It has minuses. Heaven forbid, I've never seen a job that anyone has filled that was all pluses and no minuses. Where is it? That's an important aspect. How much are they going to pay you? And what are the benefits? If you don't have a handle on those four things, it's not going to go well. We're going to focus on the job and location first. So, pluses and minuses, sure, but as you look at the job, is it a perfect match for you? You're doing a piece of research and the job is handing you on a silver platter continuing that research for the next 10 years. And God, you want to do it so bad you can taste it. That's a good match. Another good match might be, I got this far, I'm pretty good at what I'm doing, I've got some accomplishments, but the business world really interests me. And if this job offered me an opportunity to get an MBA, oh, I will have died and gone to heaven. Well, that could be a perfect match. It's not one thing that I can suggest to you makes a perfect match. This is in the ballpark of you got to make this call. There's nobody except you that can figure out what the answer to this is. But the answer isn't just one thing. Different jobs will present different opportunities. consider it all. You know, another possibility is that the job that you interviewed for and you've heard more about from the interviewer just isn't a perfect match. I don't know whether I'm allowed to use profanity in these, but shit happens. It's just not always going to be a perfect match. You know, some of them just aren't going to be a match at all. But, you know, you'd like to eat. You'd probably like to go home to a roof over your head at night. So if you're down at the not a match at all and looking at the job, the discussion is not over. It really isn't over. Location. Do you love it? I've known relatively few people over my career who've said, you know, this is where I want to live. I'm going there, and then I'll worry about a job. That, to me, showed a lot of chutzpah. I can't picture myself doing that. I just as soon know that I had a job. But if there's a place that you would really love to work, that gets a lot of points. Yeah, maybe yes, maybe no. That's also a reasonable possibility as you look at where it is this job is located. You know, you could see this coming. I wouldn't live there if you paid me. Well, that's the whole idea, isn't it? Getting paid. So, that is a legitimate consideration. You might hate it, but folks, we're talking about a balance. And I made up arbitrary points. I gave the job actually more points than where it's located, 2 to 1. But you can develop your own scale. I mean, it's a pretty straightforward combination of factors. The job you dearly love and the location you dearly love gets a lot of points. I mean, it's got to be attractive to you. The job that you don't really think is a match, you probably do it, but it's just not hugely exciting or interesting to you. And it's in a location that, God, do I have to go there? It doesn't get 0 points. Remember, you'd like to earn some money, and you'd like to eat, you'd like to have a roof over your head. So what might you expect? Well, I got a number of sources. The numbers actually look halfway decent. Kip Goldhammer is a self-styled guru on salaries and what different jobs should earn. And he pegs a first-time PhD with 86 grand and change. MIT's survey of its graduates, about the same, frankly, but with a lot wider range in salaries. From the website simplyhired.com, a lower figure for what a PhD might be expected to earn. So, are salary and location independent variables? Well, no way. I'll say this a number of times just in case you missed the point. Location and salary are not independent variables. Everything on the list, actually, of factors you should be considering depend on other factors. But let's start by looking at salary and location. I'm not particularly enamored of PhD physicists. My degree was in biophysics, which I don't think is even offered here anymore. But I had these data. Orlando, Florida, 97,000+ $12,000. Phoenix. Oh, wait a minute, that's sunny. Not quite the humidity of Orlando. 100 grand. Okay, a little better. Chicago, almost 110 grand. New York, almost $119,000. This is the same job, folks.
Is this an industry as opposed to academia?
This is the American Institute for Physics. And it's from their self-reporting. So I'm all set to sign up for that job in New York City. I mean, it's 20 grand higher than the job in Orlando. Time out. Let's talk cost of living. Now, I thought a lot about how in the world to do this. So what I did was I used State College. Suppose that job were right here. How much would it cost to maintain the same lifestyle? Well, that 97,000, almost 98,000 job in Orlando would only cost you, of that salary, $93,844. Keep the same lifestyle as if you would if you were living in State College. Pretty good deal. You take the 4,000 difference, put it in the bank. You're not going to need it. Your lifestyle will be just fine. Phoenix. Well, when we get to negotiations, you better be listening real hard because it's going to cost you 106, almost 107,000 to have the same lifestyle in Phoenix, and they're only offering 100 grand. Chicago, whoops, $141,000 it's going to cost you to maintain a State College lifestyle in Chicago, and they're offering 109,000. You see what's coming? New York. You better really have good negotiating skills because it's going to cost you almost $200,000 to maintain a State College lifestyle, and I can guarantee you the rooms are actually going to be smaller if you can afford it at all. So, a job offer in New York City looked really good, almost 119 grand, but the cost of living is going to nail you. It gets worse. You got to pay taxes. What does that do? Well, actually, Orlando cuts you a break because there's no state income tax in Florida. So you actually pocket another 3 grand almost. That Phoenix job just got worse. Taxes in Arizona are higher than they are here. Chicago, well, you actually get a little bit of a break. The Illinois state income taxes are a little bit better than Pennsylvania. New York, well, you just continue to be screwed. The state taxes are higher than here, and you're stuck. That job that looked really good at almost 119,000 isn't so good at all. And all other things being equal, assuming that Orlando does not totally turn you off and the job is a match, that 97,755 that was the lowest figure is clearly superior to the others. I mean, it's just no contest. This is the kind of thinking that you're going to have to do. How do you do it? Well, just enter cost of living on an internet search, and there will pop up a half a dozen sites that will allow you to compare your potential employment city with any other city. I could have done this in comparing Orlando versus New York instead of using State College as the base level. You can make any comparison you want. All you need is some sense of the salary that you might expect to earn and where it is you're going to earn it. Because different places cost different amounts of money to live. It's just period, end of discussion. It's exclamation point, however you want to look at it. It's a fundamental truism. Now, salary is one part of what you're going to have an opportunity to look at, assuming that somebody actually offers you a job. You know, a dollar sign associated with that offer. But benefits can make up 25 to 30% of what you actually have in terms of this total package. You just do it by example. Healthcare coverage. Is it provided in any way, shape, or form? Because if it's not, whoa, it's expensive if you've got to pay for it directly out of your own pocket. What is the charge? I'm in hog heaven at the moment because my organization pays for me. I don't have to pay for health insurance at all. I'm covered. If I want my family to be covered, the 5 kids are all gone now, but when the 5 kids were all at home, that was a real good deal. I had to pay a little extra for that, but I wasn't paying anywhere near the going rate. My employer was paying at least half of that cost. Boy, did that help. So the dollars associated with healthcare coverage, I mean, are kind of easy to see, and they're big numbers. And if they're provided by your prospective employer, that gets a big weight on the plus side of the job. And I don't care whether you're in that category, you know, I'm not really sure I like this job or not. That healthcare coverage can play a significant role. Type of plan. Well, healthcare coverage comes in a lot of different varieties. And I have no idea what it's going to look like after the Congress and Mr. Obama get done playing with it. But there will be more options, almost certainly. But you know what most of them will be. There are health maintenance organizations, classic HMO, where they provide for your health care, but you don't really know who you're going to get when you walk in the door. If that's okay with you, an HMO won't be bothersome if that's what your company offers. If you really like your doctor, well, it's probably irrelevant to think about that because you're going to move. New city, new place. But if you like the idea that you get to pick your doctor, then an HMO may not be a good match with your personality, your view of life. If it's a preferred provider program in which a lot of docs are signed up and you can pick anyone you want. Flexibility, I like that. It gives me an option. You've got to think about and even remember to ask what kind of health insurance is being offered. Copay. Well, you can ask that and you should ask about that. But the answer doesn't really add up to much. Because let's say this is September, you get a job offer in October, you start work in November. When the plan's renegotiated in January, it's not likely to be the same as it was when you signed on. And you don't have much say in it. So yeah, it's a factor If the copay is $25 every time you go see a doctor, wonder about that. Have I been sick a lot? What's the flu look like this year? If it's $15, okay. If I'm a frequent flyer at the doctor's office, or my kids are, or whatever, that's a better deal. But don't take it to the bank because it can change so easily. Paid vacation time. That is commonly offered. Certainly is in government. It is in any industry that I'm aware of, unless you're talking part-time. Now, I don't know, I didn't factor into this any discussion of part-time employment, but this whole section on benefits, you can pretty much subtract for most part-time employment opportunities. Employers tend to not provide very much by way of benefits for part-time employees. They love it. They get away with murder. So if we want to spend some time talking about part-time, we can do that. I'm thinking full-time, and you're going to get paid vacation time. You don't have to just have downtime when school's not in session. Well, you have downtime then anyway. You're in the lab doing other work. That's when you've got extra time to get stuff done. But once you're actually employed in the real world, there is a thing called vacation. I could spend time describing that. You had it once when you were back in high school, in the summertime. You remember those? You haven't had one in a while, but they exist. What is it? Is it 2 weeks a year? 1 week a year? Both of those are common. How many paid holidays are there? I think I've got 13 paid holidays and 4 weeks of leave. So right now I'm making out pretty good. Plus I'm the director, and when I want to not come in, I don't come in. Vacation time is a good thing to know about. Paid sick leave. Well, when I get sick and can't come into the office, do I have paid sick leave? It's common, and just a question of how much. Most people with paid sick leave end up accumulating it. You get 4 hours of sick leave added to your total each 2-week pay period, and you don't get 6, so now you got 4. You go for 4 weeks, and now you got 8. And you plug away at it, and pretty soon you've got 5-10 days of sick leave built up. And you know, good news is you got it if you need it, and if you don't, what happens when you get sick? You don't want the paycheck not to come in. So paid sick leave is a good thing to have. It's a good thing to understand what it is the employer is actually offering. So all of these are a laundry list of questions that you will be asking of whoever you're talking to, whomever, or whatever the correct English is. Separate from basic sick leave is the question of maternity and paternity leave. You want to start a family. What are the ground rules? If you're a man, does the company allow you to take some time off to be of something other than useless? Actually be there to help out. If you're the pregnant woman, what happens after delivery? Do you have an opportunity to spend some time at home with the newborn before you have to come back to work? You just need to ask the question.
If I can interrupt at this point, aside from the fact that we live in 2009, and aside from the fact that it's illegal, how do you ask a question like that without triggering in a person's mind, oh, she's going to have a baby, we don't want to hire her?
The good news is it is 2009. If it was one of the things that I was trying to hint at, saying I'm going to talk about now as opposed to 15 years ago. 15 years ago, that would have been a huge red flag. It just isn't now. It just really isn't. I know you can posit that, will an employer really want me if I'm asking any questions or showing any signs of intending to get pregnant? It's not an issue anymore. I have, the last 5 years, I bet you I've interviewed 30 or 40 people, and the thought has not once cropped into my head. It just isn't part of the current milieu. It doesn't matter whether the hiring authority is a man or a woman. It's not there. So ask the question. You have a need to know what is being offered. You just do. Incentive savings plans, 401k, it's other words that are used to describe this are deferred benefits. You don't actually get a benefit in your paycheck. Actually, something comes out of your paycheck and goes into a 401k fund. Now, what about that is interesting? Well, most companies and government offer some level of matching funds. So for every dollar you put in, you might get 50 cents or a quarter. And that just kind of appeared. Oh, where'd that come from? It's extra money. So that's good. With the exception of a Roth 401k, and let's not get into income tax stuff. If any of you are in finance, you can explain it, because I don't understand it. But most 401ks are pre-federal tax dollars. So if your salary was that 97 grand and you put in 7,000 a year into your 401k, you pay taxes on only 90,000. That 7,000 does not, you don't have to pay taxes on it. You will when you're old and gray like me, and you'll get there, assuming you don't get hit by a truck. That's when you'll be pulling that money out, and the tax rate, hopefully, will be much less. But while you're putting it in, you're making out like a bandit. So the incentive savings plans, the 401ks, what's offered? What are the matching funds? That becomes an important part of the benefits side of the equation. Life insurance. How many of you currently have life insurance? Well, your employer will have a couple of options. One is you may actually get it provided at no cost. That's good, because now your family is protected if something should happen to you. Some offer it at a reasonably low cost. That's also a good thing, because paying for life insurance on the open market can be expensive. So all of these are, life insurance. It's a thing. It helps you, heaven forbid that something terrible happens. So it's not like you want to use it. You'd probably rather not. But it's there as a benefit, and it has a dollar value linked to it. So if you weren't provided it in the job offer, you're going to have to pay some of that hard-earned salary to get it. So it doesn't, it adds, it's a benefit, but you're not going to see the dollars. You're going to see the benefit. Child care. It's expensive now have to go to work, and most households these days are two parents, both working. Somebody has to take care of the kids. It costs a lot of money. If the company that just made you the job offer provides child care at the place of business, oh, do I love it. I can get real excited about that job real quick, because that's a benefit that I'm gonna need, and it's gonna cost me a small fortune if I don't have it covered. Or is there a flexible spending account? Again, this is a program by which I can take salary dollars and put them into a flexible spending account. Two versions. One is medical. So I've got those co-pays I talked about. I go to the doctor a lot. I'm going to have 100 visits a year. That's probably a lot. But when I had 5 kids, my wife and I, 100 visits weren't that unusual. So, $25 copay, that starts to add up. I can put money in a medical flexible spending account. $3,000 comes out of my paycheck. But now, go back to that Orlando example. If I took out $7,000 and put it in the 401k, another $3,000 into the medical benefits plan, I'm only paying taxes now on $87,000. Don't have to pay taxes on it. Neat program if it's offered. If it's there, that's a good thing, and you can take advantage of it. Dependent care. That goes 2 directions. One, it goes to child care. But as you get older, so do your parents. And at some point, there may be an obligation to help take care of your parents. That's dependent care. And you can put money pre-tax aside that can be used to support a nursing home, whatever support is needed. Telecommuting. I work in Washington, D.C. Pretty much sucks in terms of commuting. Over the summer, I drive 25 miles each way. It's taking just under an hour. The week after Labor Day, hour and a half. Next day it rained, 2 hours. It sucks. Those days that I can sit down in my home office and work, that's a good day. I don't have to fight all of that. So what opportunities for telecommuting exist? Now, if you have to be in the lab to do stuff, you're stuck. I mean, if it's in a bench research situation, I'm not sure I know how to help you. But you ought to know whether telecommuting is provided. Public transportation. I don't use it. I probably should. But it would be an incentive for me if my company offered some subsidy to use public transportation. It would increase my interest level. It's a question that you need to ask. Now, if you're, I don't want to denigrate any particular city, but if you're in Podunk, Idaho, I'm not sure how much public transportation is going to help you. And if you're in Washington, D.C., working at the National Institutes of Health or whatever, you have marvelous public transportation. If there is some subsidy that's provided, that's a good thing. So, total compensation package is the name of the game. What's the salary offer I just got? And you remember the long discussion of, well, it kind of depends on what that salary is as to where the job is. There's a base salary. Now, is this an hourly job? I mean, there's still hourly jobs out there as opposed to salaried jobs. There's nothing fundamentally wrong with an hourly job. I mean, it's perfectly good, honest work, especially if they're going to pay you time and a half or double time for working extra hours. That starts to add up. If it's a salaried job, it would be nice to have some understanding of either what the expectation is or what the norm is. Graduate students, roughly equivalent to slave labor, long hours, low pay. That's going to get a little bit better, but what is the expectation? You ought to know what that is. If it's, most of the time we work 40 hours here, and when crunch time, when the proposal's due or the project's coming in, or when you said you were going to have this deliverable, you work whatever it takes to get the job done. You need to know what the corporate, or if it's government, what the local group behaves like in terms of what's the expectation for you. The good news is it's rarely going to be longer than you're working now. Deferred compensation. Well, I talked about the 401k. It is deferred compensation, but you have to put the money into it. There are other things like bonuses, and you ought to have some understanding of what job performance would get me some extra change. I mean, it's a legitimate question. What do I have to do? Stock options. Now, stock options are an interesting thing, because if you go to work for a biotech company that's a true startup, you don't even know whether that salary is guaranteed, because it kind of depends on how well they do. But they may be in a position to dangle in front of you stock options that say, basically, we will give you permission to buy 1,000 shares of our stock at $1 a piece. So, oh, wait a minute. To get this benefit, I got to spend $1,000? Where's the benefit there? Well, think about it a second. You now have the option to buy those 1,000 shares at $1 a piece. 6 weeks after you start at the company, let's say because of your efforts, the stock is now at $100 a share. I can fork out $1,000, buy those 1,000 shares, and they are now worth $100,000. Stock options can be really good things. If the stock tanked because you screwed up and it's worth a penny, well, good news is you don't have to pay the $1,000. You just don't exercise the option. But you just didn't get a penny there. That amounted to nothing. So as you think about the benefits package, it is the here and now, the paycheck that you're going to take home, use to buy food, rent a place to live, buy a house, whatever you're going to do with the take-home salary. But there's also the rest of the stuff, the benefits, and it gets factored into the equation. Now, spent enough time talking about what you might be seeing in a job offer. Here's the reality. The person on the other side of the table or in the chair next to you, if it's one of these touchy-feely collegial interviews, is looking to get you at the lowest salary and benefits package they can get with. They'd be dumb if they weren't. You, on the other hand, would like to be hired at the highest reasonable salary. There's a natural tension. And even a little bit of difference makes a difference. Just $1,000 if you got the extra grand. 13, 14 years later, that starts to look like real money because it gets compounded. Your salary increases are predicated on what you started at. So a 5% cost of living increase adds up over the years. Now, I put this in because it's a lot of people I've interviewed tend to start the negotiations before I've even offered the job. Probably not a good idea. It turns me off. I suspect it turns others off as well. Wait until you have a job offer. But what do you do? Well, one thing, do your homework. You have a sense of the job. It's in a particular field. It's in a particular place. Do your homework. Find out what is a reasonable salary for that job. Just don't take their word for it. Remember, they're trying to get you at the lowest cost they can get away with. So you have to do your homework. Don't go into it without information. But don't just focus on salary. I know I'm harping on salary and benefits, but you know, if you have children to take care of and child care is offered, that gets factored in, and a lower salary will work for you because you're getting this other benefit. Base pay versus deferred pay. You got lucky and you married a millionaire or millionaires and you don't need the money right now. Then you can accept money on deferred benefits a lot easier than somebody who would like to pay for food the next week. So your financial situation plays a role, but you also have to look at retirement. What kind of retirement plan is there? Is your 401k money the only thing that's going to support you when you hit 65 or 67 or 70 and you're going to want to not keep up the same pace anymore? Well, if there isn't a retirement plan mapped out, if you haven't planned for retirement yourself, trust me, flipping burgers is probably not something you want to do in your dotage. It's demeaning, and there are all those kids around. Plan for it. Start date's negotiable. You still got some things to finish up. You can negotiate that. The employer will have a sense of when they'd like you to start. But let's talk. Stock options, I talked about this already, but if you're in a situation where you can bank on your being employed is really going to help this company, then go for everyone you can get. But it's a gamble. Relocation. You forgot you had to move, didn't you? Nothing wrong with negotiating for relocation dollars. Just the person you're interviewing with is expecting you to talk about that. Don't be bashful. Put it on the table. What do you offer? Will you pay my moving expenses? It's just a good benefit. Sometimes it's even offered as a pre-tax benefit, so you don't have to pay taxes on the money. Training and education. If you're there, but you really like to get some more advanced training, do they offer it? The job itself. Well, I wouldn't really try to negotiate the job unless it's in that startup venue and your impact on the job is part of what you're selling in terms of, boy, hire me, because I can really be gangbusters for you. Other than that, I wouldn't negotiate about the nature of the job. It is what it is. Vacation time, also in the category of probably not. you're the new kid on the block. It's just what they offer is pretty much what you got to be stuck with. How do you negotiate? Well, you is your biggest negotiating factor. You're selling yourself as the new employee who's going to be good for this company or this organization or whatever. You've done your homework. They need you. That's your strong point. How do you do that? Well, you listen and watch for all of those clues that will tell you what they're really looking for. And if the job matches what you would like to be doing, how do I want to say this? You reinvent yourself right on the spot. You're flexible. There isn't just one thing you can do. But if there's a match of what you'd like to be doing, then listen for what the interviewer is talking about, how they're describing the job. You then talk about yourself in those terms. It's classic one-on-one negotiating activity. Now, life works both ways. So the interviewer is doing the same with you, finding out how what you say matches what they're really looking for. When that interview gets in sync and you're both talking about the same thing, your negotiating position just went up. I do this all the time on my side. I say, well, what salary would you be interested in? You're an idiot if you answer me. What's the range for the position, if I may ask? That's where you want to be. You have a right to know. Do not answer the question before you have something from the other side. It's not good negotiating. We don't have time for me to stand up here and actually be silent for a while, but it works wonders. You don't have to fill a void. During an interview, if the interviewer goes into a period of silence, it's okay. Just wait a bit, and you may find them saying something because they're concerned about your silence. It's a wonderful technique. Don't allow yourself to be pressured. Just period, exclamation point. You got the job offer. You're thinking about it. You can say, boy, I'm really interested. Boy, I love this area. You can be as complimentary as you want to be, but you will not say yes until you go home and think about it. You will not say no until you go home and think about it. It's a decision that has to be made based on reflection. Back to, wait a minute, how much do I love it? God, I hate this place. Boy, my wife/husband is pressuring me. Lots of stuff going on at that point in terms of what is going on in your life. Do not make the decision right then and there. What are you going to base it on? You got to look at everything, and they're all interrelated. If you think there are parts to the package that you'd like to be improved, then that's your key to go back and say, well, okay, nice offer, but can I talk about this? I'd like this to be a little bit better. I expect that. The number of folks that have just said yes, I can count on one hand. I expect pushback. What could you do better on this? And be prepared to go back and forth. Now, if you're about to get evicted, all the financial pressures, etc., you may be in a less powerful negotiating position, but take some time to think about it. Now, what are the main things? Lots of employers need somebody yesterday. Put you in the driver's seat. Because if you can start yesterday, your candidacy becomes very powerful. It's, employers don't really expect you to start yesterday. So it's not a huge negative if you can, but it's a huge positive if you can. You're worth something extra. The pitfall is thinking that you're the only one that can fill this job. Probably not. There are others out there who may be just as qualified and who didn't ask for as much as you did. That's reality. I don't know any way to make that go away. What I would suggest is these are resources that I think are halfway decent to try and come up with information. Certainly about salary, certainly about benefits, about balancing them. Your chosen field will have a society. Whatever that society is will have information on salaries and benefits. Access it. That's part of the homework you're going to do. But if there is something, anything, and you would like to get in touch with me, there it is, andersona@cir-safety.org. I'd be more than happy to respond. I'm not going to know the answers to everything. I exist in my own little world, and there's lots of the world that I may not know about. But I've got access to a lot of human resource professionals, and I can get answers even if I don't know what they are to start out with. Sorry to run this long, but I'm more than willing to take questions, and aside from the fact that it's a beautiful day outside, I'm yours as long as anybody wants to talk with me. Thank you.